Nobody saw it coming. Lewis Hamilton, after a dry spell that stretched all the way back to 2021, finally stood on the top step of the podium again, and what made it even more special? He did it in front of his home crowd at Silverstone. The roar from the stands said it all. This wasn't just another race. It was a moment that reminded everyone why Hamilton's name is etched in Formula One history. Even though Mercedes had reasons to celebrate, the retirement of George Russell because of what seemed like a cooling issue did take some of the shine off. Still, 2 back-to-back wins for the Silver Arrows has reignited hope. It makes you wonder, could this be the start of something big for Mercedes in 2024? Hamilton's win was more than just numbers. It was emotional, powerful, and long overdue. The fans felt it. The paddock felt it. And perhaps most importantly, Hamilton himself knew what it took to get here again. Through years of bouncing cars, technical headaches, and endless testing. The race had its share of drama, especially with unpredictable weather and changing strategies. Rain started falling on certain parts of the track, particularly the early corners, making tire choices and timing absolutely critical. Both Mercedes drivers slipped slightly and lost ground to the McLarens in those wet patches, which shifted the momentum early on. Still, from the very first day of the weekend, there was a noticeable improvement in the Mercedes W15's performance. It wasn't flawless, and Hamilton himself didn't expect to keep up with the likes of Red Bull or McLaren in a straight fight. But the team clearly brought something strong to the table, and by the end of the race, it became obvious. The pace was real. James Allison's recent comments echoed in everyone's minds. How did we miss this for so long? It's a fair question. Whatever adjustments the team has made lately seem to have unlocked a level of performance that was hidden in plain sight. Now that Mercedes has found a working setup, the team's next goal is climbing the championship standings. With Hungary and Spa coming up, tracks where Hamilton has a strong record, they have a real chance to make a serious push before the summer break. If they keep this momentum going, fighting for second place in the constructors' standings is not out of reach. One key factor from Silverstone was their performance on medium tires during the first stint. Both Hamilton and Russell maintained strong pace and controlled the gap behind them. Every team on the grid had an eye on the changing skies, knowing tire conservation would matter more than ever. Once the rain hit, tire management and calm heads made the difference, and Mercedes handled that pressure well. When Verstappen found himself behind Hamilton, it became clear that overtaking wouldn't come easy. Even when the McLarens got through, they needed help from the wet surface to close in and make a move. This race showed something fans hadn't seen in a while. Mercedes holding strong purely on performance. They weren't relying on luck or others making mistakes. On raw speed, they were ahead of Ferrari, whose latest updates didn't seem to help much. Ferrari even reverted to an older spec car after recent changes failed to deliver the expected results. Looking at the timing data, it's clear Mercedes had the quickest car across most of the race. No matter which tire they used, it seemed to work in their favor. McLaren may have had the best package since Miami, but despite that, they haven't managed to convert their speed into wins. That failure to finish first is starting to weigh on them. Meanwhile, with 2 wins in 2 races, Mercedes is beginning to look like a serious threat again, not just in the drivers' fight, but also for a strong finish in the team standings. With the top 4 teams now separated by a small margin, every race from here on could shake up the order. It's clear the competition is tighter than ever. Mercedes joining the fight again after some tough years feels like a breath of fresh air. At Silverstone, Hamilton showed raw emotion. His voice cracked during the post-race interview as he spoke about what this win meant to him. After all, this was his last British Grand Prix with the team, and he wanted to end on a high note. He thanked everyone at Mercedes, praising their hard work and dedication. The bond between driver and team was clear. It's a relationship built on years of trust and effort. Hamilton's determination to succeed despite the challenges over the past few seasons has never wavered. With Russell forced to retire due to a technical issue, Mercedes missed out on a possible double podium finish. But even with that setback, the team's progress is undeniable. If the car keeps improving, both drivers have a shot at standing on the podium more often in the races ahead. Of course, in Formula One, nothing is guaranteed. Rain, mechanical problems, and strategy errors can change the entire outcome in an instant. There was talk that without the rain and strategy mishaps, McLaren might have taken the top spots at Silverstone. Still, Hamilton's late race undercut on Norris showed that Mercedes knows how to make the right moves when it matters most. Since the Miami Grand Prix, only 3 teams have claimed race wins, and Mercedes stands second with 2 victories. Even if one of those wins came after Russell benefited from circumstances, the team's improvement is clear. James Allison's return as technical chief seems to have sparked a turnaround. The work done on the car's design and setup is paying off. Meanwhile, McLaren scored the most points at Silverstone, showing that the fight for the Constructors' Championship is far from over. Looking ahead, Mercedes is moving into one of Hamilton's favorite races, Hungary. Last year he secured pole position there with a car that wasn't nearly as competitive as the one he drives now. If Mercedes can pull off a 3rd straight win, the season's second half could become very exciting. That said, we can't always count on luck. Russell's unexpected retirement at Silverstone was a reminder that reliability still matters. Plus, the weather will likely keep shaking things up. But one thing is certain. Red Bull's speed remains a major challenge. Even with a fresh floor on their car, they struggled to maintain their usual dominance until the final laps when their strategic calls made a difference. Ferrari's struggles continue, with no points scored for 2 races running. A red flag for Hamilton, who's set to join the team next season. While the cars might not change much in the short term, a bigger shakeup is expected in 2026. Right now, Mercedes sits in 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship with 221 points. They're about 80 points behind Ferrari in 2nd, and only 70 points away from Red Bull at the top. This gap is definitely close enough to catch up, especially if they keep performing well in the coming races. Looking at the bigger picture, the 2024 season still holds plenty of surprises. The question remains, can Hamilton and Russell maintain this strong form and grab more wins before the season ends? Their recent results suggest they have what it takes. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Will Mercedes continue this climb, and can they challenge for the championship? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to check out the next video on your screen for more F1 updates and analysis.